in the open floor, hops incredible.
Get up, get up, get up, get up. Let's get ready for Marcus Maven. You're about midway to the midday with Marcus Maven. And you can call in, I lay back and just listen to Marcus Maven. So sit back and relax and watch Maven. Break it down like this. Woo!
Broadcasting live from the OPC Pest Services studio. Time for Middays with Marcus Maven on 93.9 The Ville. Now, here's Marcus Maven and Steve Rummage.
Welcome back. It's Midday with Marcus Maven. 8150, 93.9 is the number, 93.9 is the station, and it is absolutely basketball season. It looks like basketball season. It smells like basketball season. It is totally basketball season. Steve Rummage in the building, Brian Hall in the booth.
Oh my God. What? Oh my God. Oh, it's good to be back.
It's good to be back.
Oh my God.
Well, so while Steve collects himself,
Yeah, give me a second, man.
Brian Hall, what's going on in the booth?
Oh, nothing too much, man. Like you all said, got some basketball last night. I watched the Western Kentucky game, man, and they were up by 9 at the half.
Washington.
And blew it in the second half.
Oh,
but hey,
man.
that's all right though.
You weren't talking about the women's basketball team.
but
Congratulations.
yes, the women,
Shout out. They look
Yeah,
good,
yeah, I was
too.
gonna say, yeah.
Aisha
Good job,
Durr,
ladies.
man, 33.
33 points.
I got a little nervous though. The referees stunk.
Yeah.
The referees in the women's games just stink sometimes.
They're horrible, man.
Good job, Coach Walls. 300th win. Congratulations.
Yep.
And I like the Coach Walls comments at the end saying, give all my players and all my coaches all the credit for the 300 wins, and I'll take the 98 losses. Oh, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Coach. You rascal, you.
That was good.
Oh, Coach. So how about I just do this right now, people? 8150 93.9 is the number. 3831 93.9 is the text line. At Stephen Rummage.
Yeah.
At Brian Hall ESPN. At Maven 939. Congratulations, Derwin Webb.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Judge Derwin Webb. Congrats, eight-year gig. I'm sure you're gonna love that. Whew. So,
Oh, man.
this is gonna be awkward, but
So basketball's back.
yeah. Champions Classic last night. Kansas,
Yeah.
they played.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anything about FBI investigations.
No. You had a real.
I heard a lot about Dick Vitale's foundation book
Uh-huh.
and Azubuike's drop step, and that's about it.
Yeah. Really nice little crowd.
Michigan State, just moving right along.
Michigan State. I said that. I want a little money on Kansas. I'm just saying, because Michigan State lost 2 lottery picks and didn't replenish a thing.
Right.
I was like, why are they 10th again? You know.
Speaking of rankings,
Yeah. It was a really good crowd, though. Brought a lot of fans. I know there was a lot of fans there.
Oh yeah,
That was good.
a lot of interesting faces in the crowd.
Uh-huh. It was fun.
We'll talk about those things, Steve, and then we're going to talk about what happened on the basketball court. What is?
They looked really good in the Bahamas, though.
Wait a minute. Duke didn't go to the Bahamas.
I know. I know.
Who was that in the Bahamas?
Kentucky played in the Bahamas. They looked really good there too.
Oh, that Transylvania team, that game, that IUP game was really a tough test, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how are we going to do this, Steve? Because it feels like around the world that Steve and I exist in. People, let me just tell you a story. When you're inside of your bullpen at your workplace, everybody has the bullpen. Everybody has the gathering area. Imagine, I need you to do this. Close your eyes unless you're driving or unless the boss is going to catch you and think you're sleeping. Imagine a world where someone who you work with comes right around the corner and the first thing that comes out of their mouth is prediction. Kentucky 108 at Louisville 55. Is that what you got? Is that how you're going to start my day? Oh, man. My day is starting with predictions of Kentucky versus Louisville after what just went on last night.
You want to know what Louisville won't do this year?
I'm listening.
Give up 118 points.
Louisville will not give up 118
I feel
points.
like I was watching the dang Lakers.
Book it. Book it.
Yeah.
Right? People, I just watched a beatdown of epic proportions, and the thought crossed my mind. I almost tweeted out. I almost sent a real poll. Which beatdown was worse? Clemson, Louisville? Clemson, Louisville?
My gosh.
Or Duke, Kentucky basketball?
The worst part of it was almost like Duke, Kentucky was almost a mixture of Alabama, Louisville, and Clemson, Louisville.
Right.
Because in Clemson, Louisville, there were no expectations, at least.
Right.
In Bama, Louisville, there were.
Right.
And you realized very quickly, it was like, wow.
I couldn't imagine being number 2 in the country, or number 4,
Yeah.
or number 6, or in the top 10 in the country, and giving up 118.
Well, I don't think it's ever happened before. Seriously, I don't think it's ever happened before.
Nobody has given up.
Yeah, and here's the deal.
Boy.
Last night,
Listen, Texter, I was so going to use the loser song, but I thought y'all not even worthy.
No.
You're not worthy of the loser
No,
song.
no,
Good
because-
call, though, Texter. I like where your head was.
because let me tell you why. Last night,
Losing means you tried.
yes. No, I think they did. What's the thing? Last night, a man wearing a Kentucky jersey went up to lay up a basketball, and a man wearing a
Not
Duke
a
jersey,
freshman.
No, not a freshman. Actually, your most improved, quote unquote, guy went up,
Mr. Game Changer.
and a guy wearing a Duke jersey, for the first time I've ever seen, grabbed the ball and a man's soul all in one thing and took them.
Do you want to know what that sounds like, Steve?
I do.
When you take somebody's soul,
Yes.
this is what it sounds like.
But man, are they experienced and talented. They're really good. Top 10. Good.
Oh, yeah.
People. People, I am a basketball purist to my bones, right? And if you ever have the opportunity to blow your money, go down and go sit as close to under the basket as you humanly can. And you want to hear what it's like when a competitor owns another competitor. People, just so Steve is clear, you know the point of the game that he's talking about. When Zion Williamson snatches this ball out of the air, proceeds to go down and one on Duke with the dime.
Oh, yeah.
That's a freshman. People, that's a freshman in the middle of a game in the first half. That's a freshman taking it from Nick Richards
Yeah.
in the middle of a game. And when you yell out something like this,
You mean like that?
Listen, I sent that to Steve just so he could like spiritually. You have to appreciate how confident of a human being you are when you snatch a basketball out of the air.
Like, yes, and then lead the break and get an and one. Well, I mean, you didn't get, but make the pass to get the and one to the guy on the team that's better than you, which is frightening.
Listen, here's the thing. It's amazing how good Duke got all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
From the time it went from a 7-point game to a 14-point game. People
before the game, the Cats, baby. They remind me of 2012, baby. Yeah. Really?
Do you realize, people
must have missed that game in 2012?
That Duke scored 80 points, and I want you to do this for your own sake, right? Because you don't need me to explain these things to you because you were there. But sometimes things just slip through the cracks. Steve, do you know how early Kentucky was in the bonus? The double bonus, people. When Kentucky starts losing, and everybody has seen this movie before, when Kentucky starts losing, it's almost like a Pavlovian response for the referees to say, this shouldn't be like this.
Right.
So what we're going to do is we're going to foul, and we're going to call foul, and we're going to call foul. Do you realize that Duke's players all were in foul trouble within the first 10 minutes of the game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you realize that Reed Travis shot more free throws alone than I think Kentucky combined, right? They went to the line every single time in the first half. At some point, the referees in the second half were just like, dude, we can't help.
Well, because Duke took it.
Yes.
Was the problem. Duke come out in the second half and went on a 7-0 run just like that. And
right
it was
out
like,
of half.
It's over.
Listen.
And that was right after they said, Kentucky come out of the tunnel yelling, we're going to war. 7-0. Like that. You're like, oh.
Right.
What
Listen,
happened?
so think about it. Out of that 80 whatever points,
Yeah.
30 of them were gifted free throws. At least.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. When is your boy gonna be eligible to play? What's that kid's name everybody been talking about? The hero kid. When is he gonna join the team? Who? What? Where?
Do you remember when I told the story on here when I said my father-in-law after the Bahamas thing, he said, man, the white kid hero is going to be our best player. And I said, oh, dude, y'all are going to suck. No, it's not like that. He's like Rex Chapman. Like, dude, it's going to be like, yeah.
Rex Chapman is going to go on a tear and backslap people.
Rex Chapman
for embarrassing his name.
Should go back to his original love and start coming to Louisville games because he
should bail
because they called him.
I saw Derek Anderson.
Now Jack White, Facebook. The white kid. That's his name.
Yeah, right.
From Duke, baby.
The white kid from Duke. He was out there balling.
Yeah. I was like, man, Rex Chapman-esque.
Tyler Hero, I was thinking, no way that's him.
No, because Marcus, let me tell you why. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you there, but I called you.
Necessary.
I called Marcus, and we have the records to show.
The call logs.
2 minutes into this game, when it was not a blowout yet, and I said, look at Tyler Hero looks like a child with Cam Reddish on him. Cam Reddish is a 2-guard, a 6'9" 2-guard. And Tyler Hero looked like a small child next to him.
He looked a lot different out there with that Duke team. And here's the thing. Duke's not just some big, huge team, like freakishly large, like when we had lineups with Honest and Malik and Race Ball, like sometimes those teams look freakishly large and long. He just didn't. He didn't move.
No.
He didn't move like he belonged. And I expected him. Listen, Nick Richards, Marcus Maven came in here yesterday. And I said, the difference is Reed Travis is an adult. I thought Kentucky would win. Reed Travis is an adult. PJ Washington is an adult. Nick Richards is an adult. Quade Green is an adult, right? They're going to be able to take care of this team through the tough times. They have not improved one iota.
Well, PJ Washington, you talk about Tyler Hero. PJ Washington's the one I'm like, he even play?
If I'm Kentucky fan,
Where was that kid even at?
I mean, listen, they just looked soft.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying, people, like, when you talk to somebody and you're just like, well, what do you think about this? And like guys that don't shake your hand firmly, like they looked gentle. They looked gentle. They did not look competitive. And the competitive guy that everybody's throwing around, the Reed Travis, watch him. Got dirty by the second.
Mm-hmm.
Reed Travis is a version of
Okay, we'll wait.
what's his name? You know his name. I hate him. Grayson Allen.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to get my notes, people. Grayson Allen.
Yeah.
Reed Travis increasingly went Grayson Allen. He didn't get caught, but his elbow starts swinging around in people's faces. His knee starts getting extended in people's thighs. Just the balls on the ground, and I'm gonna show the fake hustle, like that kind of stuff. But you know what that is also? That's realizing your mortality.
Mm-hmm.
When Reed Travis gets his little and one against the white kid, I think, and he's shaking his head and he's doing his dance. You know what you're gonna learn. And this is me. I'm gonna step out of 93.9. I'm gonna step out of Marcus Maben's normal character, and I'm just gonna say basketball guy and Kentucky guy. Analyzing this team, the Kentucky team. You saw a team out there that thought it was just gonna happen because they're Kentucky.
Yeah, that's fair.
I saw the facial expressions of it's not supposed to go like this, right?
That was E.J. Montgomery the whole game. I mean, you could tell that he was just the entire game.
Johnson was the only guy who wanted to compete and wanted to compete with his skill set. I want to take what I got and go against you and make you prove that you're better than me, right? Everybody else sat around and UK'd it up, right?
Yeah.
And Coach Calipari let him UK it up.
Yeah. No, and to be fair, look, I'll be honest with you. I really don't care to analyze the game. I don't.
Right.
Yeah,
that's fair enough.
It was funny. They got killed. But I will say what Duke did last night, I think, has nothing to do. This actually has nothing to do with Kentucky, kind of bringing it back to Louisville a little bit.
Yep.
I think what Duke did showed you that Louisville can numerically have the rotation they have and be okay.
With toughness.
I'm not comparing them to Duke. I'm not saying they're as talented as Duke. So take the Duke comparison out of it and just think of numbers. Duke plays 7 dudes. Period. Louisville realistically has 9. 10 maybe.
Kentucky was the tired team.
Yeah, because Duke was tough. And Duke's not in great shape. Like, Zion Williamson is not Mr. Track Meet guy. Like, that's why he would set. Well, other than when he picked up the 2 in the first, of course, 8 minutes. But I mean, you notice Kay has to pull him on a almost on a
6 minute.
Yeah, because he's not. So my thing was
all the players like that. The point guard, they're not like super uber conditioned.
Yeah. And I mean,
but when that ball went up, there was nobody from Kentucky around because they were tough.
And I hope Louisville watched that game and said, that's your blueprint for you guys to be a team that can win some games this year and to be a team that can be relevant in the tournament conversation.
Only going to be toughness.
That's it.
Only going to be toughness.
Because numerically, that is about the same thing.
And again, you keep on saying it. Jordan's a big boy. He's a
Yeah.
big physical, like he's a big boy. He can if he's mentally is tough enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If VJ King, they're good frames, good speed, good athleticism. Mentality is going to be the difference between this team.
Well, and I was
doing
flipping. I
anything.
was flipping around last night during the 7 o'clock hour, especially, and I just doubled down on what me and you talked about last week, not on the show but off the air. I doubled down on it, and Louisville could not play. They'll probably lose it. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. They'll probably lose it, but they could not play a more perfect toughness film game than Tennessee in a couple weeks to show them.
And don't get it confused. Right now, they're preparing for Tennessee.
Yeah, as they should. Yeah, as they should.
Right. The Nickel State.
Yeah.
If we bring the Tennessee scouting report
Yeah.
to the Nickel State game, it'll work out well.
Yep.
Let me get to this phone line because we can't be doing this, Steve. You know, sometimes some people just get so mad at us. Lawrence, thanks for joining us on 93.9, my man. What's on your mind?
What's up, guys?
What's up, man?
If Chris Mack saw that game last night, he better be saying game on. Send a message out there when they play Nickel State on Thursday night. Let the whole college basketball world know is Louisville ain't out here to be afraid of nobody. He's not at Xavier no more. He's at Louisville now. He needs to send a message on Thursday night against Nickel State.
Appreciate the call, Lawrence. Here's the thing, people. Here's the thing. Steve and I have made these jokes about how all of a sudden Duke just got better and better, right? They got better and better. They were a good team out there. They were a good, talented, athletic team. People, if you watch that game, I can guarantee you when Duke plays against Virginia, it's not going to look like the same Duke. When Duke plays against Florida State, who smashed Florida last night.
Yeah.
When Duke plays against Florida State, it's not going to look like that same thing. Steve, I know this is not going to be a popular opinion locally, but it's going to be fact. And if y'all don't wrap your heads around this locally, you'll be living under these you'll be living under these false narratives for the rest of the year.
Texter, I totally agree on Vermont. I just was throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Not overlooking Vermont at all.
Right, fact.
Yeah.
That game wasn't Duke. That game was Kentucky and their crappy defense.
Well, why it was that bad? I mean, like,
right.
Let's.
You were going to lose against Duke.
I think so. I mean, I picked them. I mean, so.
And again, when you look at it, like if you just like not even breaking down the game, any player knows if you have the ball and they're just worried about you driving to the basket and they give you 4 feet of space and let you sit on the college 3-point line, anybody on the planet can hit the jump shots that Duke was hitting. The 3-pointer and the jump shot. Like, think about it. Zion Williams' first little jump shot was inside the 3-point line, and the guy was 3 feet off of him. That's terrible defense. Now, if you let a guy hit a couple of those shots, good luck stopping him because now he's moving.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, I saw it, and that, like, listen, you didn't have overwhelming athleticism on that court. Reed Travis is not your overwhelming athleticism. Nick Richardson looked like he had a glass jaw.
No, but here's the thing. Louisville's going to be a team that's not going to have overwhelming athleticism.
Right.
But what Kentucky looked soft as butter. I mean, like it was like there was nothing there that said any kind of pushback. I haven't got that same vibe watching these 2 Louisville exhibition games. That the toughness is not there. I don't get that vibe. I mean, even my father-in-law, after that second exhibition game, I could hear.
You could hear the trepidation.
I could hear in his voice the something ain't right. You know,
I don't know what it is.
But the point is, and I'm not trying to deflect away from the Kentucky talk, but I mean, if that's kind of where we're comparing, because Louisville does start the season tomorrow night, that's the difference. Because Louisville's not going to be overwhelming athletic. Duke is. They're overwhelming athletic. I mean, they're.
But the only thing that slows that down is toughness.
Yes.
We also will be starting tomorrow night with the pregame shows, people. And we have the perfect place. Galt House, Al J's Restaurant. Al J's, come over there and hang out with us for the pregame show. You're going to have the surround sound in the place, the TVs, the bar.
It's glass ceiling, glass walls.
God. People, like there is no other pregame spot like Al J's.
You look out one side, you see Jeff Ruby's. You look out the other side, you see the bridge and the river. I mean, it's just like it's the perfect place.
And
their food's awesome.
They wanted to give us the proper, format to make sure, we were able to just bring it.
I'm gonna get there early and eat my burger before.
Thank you, Steve. Tony, thanks for joining us on Middays with Marcus Maben, my man. What's on your mind?
Man, yeah, I might have already talked about this, and like the one caller that calls in, I'm gonna go ahead and say this up front. Like a red team dude, LSC and all that good stuff.
No doubt.
Watching Duke last night play Kentucky, I know Kentucky's gonna be a good team. They look pretty good. They got a lot of talent, but Duke, I don't know who's more dominant, them or Clemson football. It's crazy what we saw last night. I'm an old athlete. I'm ready for that challenge. You saw how tough Louisville's schedule was at the beginning of the season. I mean, just watching the games last night, you was like, wow, like there's some good teams out there. Being an athlete, I'm ready to see what Mac has tomorrow night. I just wanted to kind of jump in and throw that out there.
No, listen, I appreciate the call. Listen, that's a fact. Like the what you're seeing right now is the unfolding game plan of realizing Villanova was tougher than everybody the last 2 years. They were just tougher. That the days of the reason Rick Pitino didn't work at Boston is because he was still using the toughness of conditioning versus the toughness of, the rebounding and things like that, right? Like a tougher team can pull away. Virginia has given you the game plan. Villanova has given you the game plan. The only teams that are winning are right now are solid. The pressure teams aren't winning anymore.
Well, no, I think that's why Matt could take a Xavier team who was Louisville's more athletic than Xavier was last year. Not saying they're better basketball players,
right?
But they were more athletic. He could take an unathletic Xavier team and be a 1 seed.
No, and that's the point. He had to get ahead of the curve and start to realize that pressure in a new basketball where there is no touching, there is no pressure. They're gonna call a foul if you're picking up a guy out at half court or anything. But what they won't do is let somebody, like if you're kind of in a backed off line, they're encouraging you to shoot a challenge shot. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say, yeah, and I think he's also learning that what everybody else is learning, and it's kind of shown to be true in the past 3 recruiting classes or so, that there's about 5. And after that, 6 ain't very much different than 56.
If you watched a Louisville game, this is where we get excited. If you watched a Louisville game, you notice, listen, you can use Bellarmine, you know what you saw? Not a lot of block shots. You know what you saw? Attention to the closeout. You know what you saw? Nobody jumping for the pump fakes. The only time Tyler Hero got to the basket the entire time was off a pump fake, getting somebody in the air. Other than that, no Kentucky player really got to the basket outside of Johnson. And that was just him just ducking his head and forcing it, which really led to a couple of bad shots. He shot the shot you want him to shoot. The running, lower your head floater. That's a low percentage shot that if you can get somebody to take that, if they're that good to hit that, then more power to them. Right?
Yeah.
But the point being, a disciplined closeout that you see with Chris Mack, concentrated on just something that simple, that transfers game after game after game. Not jumping for pump fakes. Game after game after game.
Yeah.
That's why
That was pretty nice.
we got to talk about this stuff. People, announcement just got made. We have to decide if Louisville is like in the worst trouble, or is Louisville on the home stretch. Very uncomfortable subject coming up next. Midday with Marcus Maben, 8150, 93.9 is the number on 93.9 The Ville.
Everyone has a different experience when it comes to buying.
You're listening to Middays with Marcus Maben, broadcasting live from the OPC Pest Services studio on 93.9 The Ville. Now, here's Marcus Maben and Steve Rummage.
Welcome back. Welcome back. It's Midday with Marcus Maben. 8150 93.9 is the number. 93.9 is the station. People, that was a very spirited first segment. Sorry if our laughs and our giggles and our cackles just drove you insane, but people, sometimes you just have to appreciate the humor in sports.
It's worth it.
It's so worth it. The couple of people who couldn't stand our cackling, it was worth it to scare them off, Steve?
Yes.
People, we cut into break, or when we're headed to the break, I was letting you know we will be at Al J's in the Galt House for all pregame shows. We encourage you to come on by. Like I said, it's a great mingling location. It's a great pregame. Again, I almost felt like that was the part of the Al J's is to become the new like home office to talk all our U of L sports. Because here's the thing, we got to get together and we have to make a lot of decisions about the future of the University of Louisville. And that's like just the speakeasy where we can come in and get some serious secret negotiations done.
It's a really cool spot. I mean, I wasn't kidding. I mean, I'm going to go over there. I think our pregame show should start around 6. I think the game.
Right.
And so
I mean, you might see Vince Tyree over there hovering with potentials and, all kinds of things. Like, you never really know what you're going to see.
I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up about 5. I'm going to give me a burger. I'm going to set at the fish tank bar, which is awesome. I'm gonna eat.
Sound like we're in Scarface's house.
I know,
or something.
man. I know. I'm gonna have a good time.
Want to let people know right now we are live streaming on YouTube. We are Made for the Ville, the YouTube channel. We're actually on there live. You get to see the live reactions here. To remind people, thecrowdsline.com is in the building. People, thecrowdline.com/GFH. Like I said, we're making improvements and big moves every direction. That's why we always encourage you people to hop on board, invest in 93.9. It's like I said, if I have to show you how well the numbers are, then you just don't know how good the show is. Like the numbers are like a deal sealer, but you should already know that I want to be a part. I want to get my name out there. I want to invest in 93.9. It's an awesome, awesome opportunity. So here's the thing, people. I went in the break saying the next conversation that we were going to have may be a bit uncomfortable because I don't know if you've heard. I don't know if we're basically your first source of sports information. I mean, obviously, you're going to get a bit of a more direct version of what's going on. We don't give you the media spin to make University of Louisville or sports look bad. Here's the thing: the title of this article by Pat Forty, Pete Thamel, and Dan Wetzel. I know you shiver when you hear those names a lot of times. Feds give NCAA go-ahead to begin investigating schools in college hoop scandal. Now, first and foremost, people, when I see Pat Forty, Pete Thamel, and Dan Wetzel on one article, I'm like, wow, that's 3 names. Those are 3 mega names to be putting their name on one article.
Right.
Feds give NCAA go-ahead to begin investigating schools in college hoops scandal. So here's the thing, people. Again, I know you're listening, so pardon me if you've already read it, or pardon me if you've heard it. This is the reason I want to give the proper credit to whoever wrote it. I mean, I'm sure if you think there's something I'm leaving out, you can go check it out yourself. The federal government has given a nod of approval to begin looking into the potential NCAA violations tied to certain schools implicated in the federal basketball investigation. According to multiple sources, this serves as a first step of what could be one of the broadest and most important investigations in the history of the NCAA Enforcement Division. So when you say given the nod, right?
Yep.
That's keep in mind, people, that sentence says that's not really a declaration. That's not an official announcement coming out of the investigative team. There's nothing. That's not the NCAA saying we're going to officially start, doing it. Like, none of that is being said in this, right?
Yeah.
Sources say that the NCAA has been in constant communication with the federal government since September 2017. We'll just keep on going to get to the good stuff. Sources indicated there was no formal letter or declaration from the federal government, but rather acknowledgement in the cases of certain schools. Listen to the sentences I'm going to read right now. Sources indicated that there was no formal letter or declaration from the federal government, but rather an acknowledgement that in the cases of certain schools, the NCAA can now begin its own investigation process. That sentence scares the bejesus out of me. And I'll take it into the next paragraph. The sources did not indicate specific schools that the NCAA has been cleared to look at. The next sentence, programs named in the first federal trial included Kansas, North Carolina State, and Louisville. Do you have a problem with that? Or you know what? I don't care if you have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
If I am North Carolina State, Louisville, and Kansas, hold up. What made you randomly select out of all the universities that have been the Arizonas, the Oregons, all the other schools that had their names connected? Anybody, the Michigan State, who Brian Bowen Sr. was talking about, dealing with, and why all those schools were brought up in some way, shape, form, or fashion with this investigation.
I mean, Creighton.
Right.
Auburn.
Right. Accusations of offering money, acknowledgments of offers. Texas, right. So in this reporting, for you to say Kansas, North Carolina State, and Louisville, and other than them being named, what other similarities could you easily spot between the three schools put on that paragraph?
Adidas schools.
What do you mean? Say that again.
They're all three Adidas schools.
All three schools that were named in this article, saying sources did not indicate specific schools that the NCAA has been cleared to look at. Programs named in the first federal trial included Kansas. So right now you're saying in blue, because think about it, people. When you read these articles, there's a little blue change in the font and the color. And when you click on those, they send you to articles about Louisville, articles about Kansas, and articles about North Carolina State. So that is purposefully done to direct your attention to certain places. The Southern District of New York declined comment when reached by Yahoo Sports on Tuesday night. An NCAA spokesman declined to comment to Yahoo Sports, citing the associate. Okay, so everybody else involved in all of this declined, but all you do know is somebody got the nod at the NCAA to start looking at some schools. And this comes out as a report to the world that basically these three schools can get ready to start getting investigated.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's kind of par for the course for where we've been.
And that's the scary part.
Up until now, which is the scary part, because that makes you worry that they have a predetermined list of a couple schools that are going to get in trouble. Now, the one thing I will say that I do like is Kansas being drug into that mud too, because I don't think you crush Louisville and Kansas. I think you do, however.
And you have the most damning evidence on Kansas, by the way.
Yes, up until now. Yeah. And because Jay Billis, I thought, said it great last night too. Jay Billis said on the show when they were talking about it, he said all these other schools in the country that are just chilling. He's like, and I like that. Now maybe it doesn't, but I like that Jay Billis's lawyer brain basically puts it out there and says, hey, if it don't, then raise your eyebrows. Because he said there's so much more information that should come from the trial that just happened and the other ones that are to come, that your school's not off the hook.
Right.
Yeah, and
right. But if you start massaging, if you start attacking this predetermined list of schools, and everything else was a slow play process, there's a problem. Well, also include this new rule that just got put into place within the last 6 months with Condoleezza Rice and this new board. They get to use the testimony as evidence. Yeah. Right? Sworn testimony. We get to take what we think happened or what we think is true or not true and just assume. So here's the thing. The part that gives you pause or maybe a bit of relief, if you say you got money from this guy and this guy, you have to use all this evidence equally. NCAA, either you have to use all of it or you can't use any of it. You cannot pick and choose that Brian Bowen Sr. was telling the truth about this 3,000, but his offer from Kansas or his Creighton thing, from Dawkins. Sure. We can't all of a sudden start calling Christian Dawkins non-credible in this case, you know? And again, this is this is a lawyerly thing. And another point, I believe I heard, I want to feel like I'm stealing somebody's point, but I heard it.
Just take it.
You got to decide. Is Kenny Johnson going to talk to the NCAA? Yes.
Yeah.
Is he going to admit?
No. No, not at all. I mean,
not at all.
Well, actually, and he'll be forced to talk because he
wants to coach.
Well, he works for the NCAA. He won't have a choice.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And the only person that doesn't have to talk is Brian Bowen Sr.
Yeah. Well, not to the NCAA. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But they. I mean, the other thing here is I think the NCAA will have trouble doing anything right now because you can't punish schools right now because there's so much more information still to come out. I mean, I'll use Louisville. I mean, just to show I'm not being a homer. What if you hit Louisville right now and said, well, we feel like off the testimony, and I mean, it's hitting far-fetched because they can do whatever they want. They say the Brian Bowen meeting with Kenny Johnson is we're punishing you for that. Well, then what if it comes out in 3 weeks or in 3 months, the Jordan Fair tape? Now you've got to – are you going to bring Louisville back to the table? Like, I think you have to wait. Now, here's the good thing for Louisville there. The longer the wait, the more – I don't know if they will or not.
The more evidence on other schools.
But the more time that there's possible – because I've come to the point where I never assume that evidence is coming out anymore. So, but you assume that there'll be more possible evidence to happen.
And the other problem is evidence is out. We're not even arguing about evidence anymore.
Yeah.
We're arguing about the admissibility of evidence, right? And if there's anybody on the planet who gets to say, you can't just take the word of a non-credible person and pin it on Louisville.
Yeah,
you're about to lose a lawsuit for your Katina Powell overreach.
Yeah,
Louisville's the one school that has a full tilt case. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I know what you're saying, and I know some people like to say, "Oh, well, let's just stop fighting and let's just move on."
No, absolutely not. No.
Yeah, and you people, sits at the head of the table a guy who cannot afford to do the let's just move on when it comes to sanctions.
Yeah.
Like, no,
absolutely
There's
not.
one guy on the planet that can never say, let's take our medicine. When you want to turn into a bad guy real quick, try to sell me on, oh, well, they did some things and we're going to self-impose.
Yeah. No, absolutely not. I mean,
try that one.
Yeah. No, you're right. I agree.
Mark, thanks for joining us on the Escort Collision Center Hotline, my man. Fire away.
Hey, Marcus. I was just listening to your comment about, they can use this testimony from the court about this rule that was put in place, you said about 6 months ago.
Yes.
And I know you were estimating.
Yes.
But my question is, can they use that for an incident that happened prior to the rule being put in place?
Yes, because the testimony is coming out inside of this, this period. So once you change the law, the court, testimony that's supposed to be under the umbrella of perjury just can be used. This is a new rule put in place, and we yelled about it. It felt personal. It felt really, really personal because it was a case of the most convenient rule in history put in.
Yeah, I just don't know, like, rules of law, and I know NCAA is different. But rules of law, if you could do that for an incident that happened prior to somebody, knowing that rule was in place or would be.
I think that what you're saying, Marcus, is right.
Yeah, Mark, I appreciate the call.
Yeah, but that's a good thought, though. I do get what he's saying.
No, we're become legal maneuvering experts.
Well, and you learn a lot, man. You one thing with the legal system, I will say, man, is anytime you go,
they say you want to know the law, ask a criminal.
Yeah, you think you know a lot. And okay, for instance, I don't care to put my business out a little bit to an extent, but even and me and Elijah's mom get along well, but you still kind of going through the court thing just to get the child support set up right and everything. There's things that we thought we knew,
right?
That when you get in there and start doing it, you're like, oh, we were both like, oh, we didn't know that. Okay, well, we didn't know that. So this case I felt like I'm back there again, like trying to figure it all out again, because it's everything you think you know,
and you don't want to get drug into the legalese minutia of the conversation. You don't want to turn into just guy looking to get off the hook. That's the reason I don't have the argument about timing.
Right.
The only argument I have, and keep in mind, people, we started this conversation by just acknowledging that the rules have not applied to us in the same way they have applied to other people.
Right.
We've this is a fact. We've had the biggest overreaching punishment in NCAA history.
Yeah.
That's a fact. So we're having this conversation on what's right and what's wrong, acknowledging we can get the wrong side of this thing from beginning to end. But we're pointing out to you, you have people in place that can't just lay down. We're rolling along. Let's take a quick commercial break, top of the hour, so my man Brian Hall doesn't get fired. Middays with Marcus Maben, as always, rolling along. Again, we are Made for the Ville is the YouTube channel. You should subscribe, because when we start doing the pregame shows, I want you to get that alert and say, oh, yeah, the pregame show. If you're sitting at home and not actually over with us at Al J's, I want you to get that little alert that says, oh, yeah, they're doing the pregame show from over at the spot. I wanted to see what that spot looks like. They got the cameras going. I need you to subscribe to the YouTube channel when we do the nighttime games, the breakdowns at halftime of other games. Sometimes Steve and I are laughing about what we see on TV at 10:59 at night, and we just click on the YouTube channel. We just listen. We share a lot with you people. We share pretty much everything. Steve's sharing his stories about child support court.
Yeah, we're pretty open.
What more do you want from us, people? Midday with Marcus Maben, 8150 93.9 is the number on 939 The Ville.
on 93.9 The Ville. Now, here's Marcus Maben and Steve Rummage.
Welcome back. It's midday with Marcus Maben. 8150 93.9 is the number. 93.9 is the station. People, this thing is not as complicated as it seems sometimes. Now, sometimes you hear me shout out people. You know, we have partners, and the partners, I'm always very humble at how happy they are with our partnerships. Like I said, I was saying it earlier, thecrowdsline.com/DFH. You know, we do a little partnership. We do a Maben 5 pick 'em where you can pick some college games and you can win some gift cards. It's a very easy process. You just go in there, use the little meter to pick your teams out and wait for your gift cards. Like, how easy is that? It's awesome, right? So that thing is going to grow exponentially very fast. So I just want to take a second to let you know, listen, it's not that hard, to be a partner. You just listen. This is 2018. Get on social media. Say, hey, Maben, can I talk to you for a second? Send me an inbox message. Hey, man, looking at being a part of the show. I mean, if it's a charitable event, if it's you want to partner your business, if you want to grow your business, if you want to get the most return on investment or anything, we are very, very easy to contact. As a matter of fact, tomorrow Steve and I will be at 7325 St. Andrews Church Road, about a mile from Doss. Coach's Grill. Kick off our basketball season during the day. We'll be at Coach's Grill tomorrow. We're doing the show from there. You know how fun it is. You know how much business it brings. I mean, let's just call it what it is. We bring business. We bring excitement. And we're always, like I said, we're always flattered to do it.
Well, and let me go back to this. I mean, we go to Flanagan's Ale House. We're going to be at Coach's Grill tomorrow. We have places that we frequent off the air, but these are places that are partnerships of our workplace, and we enjoy going out there and helping out.
Our personal relationships, and they would like to capitalize on what we bring.
And but we are looking for prom date.
Right.
We're looking for a couple places or a place to call home. So it's very simple to just contact us.
Instead of just dating.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Rumor mill time.
Oh, geez, man. That was really
it was emotional?
No, yeah. It was really depressing. I was like, what are we going to talk about?
Rumor mill time. Louisville football. Don't touch that dial just yet, because people, we have to get through these things. I need to inform you of things that you can inform the next person so we can go, so we won't have to be stressed out all the time. Rumor mill conversation, like transfers. You hear the words, I hear the words. I had Derwin Webb on here yesterday, coming from somebody else, coming from somebody who played. Everybody is thinking about transferring when you're losing. Never fails. Everybody, half of the people, listen, out of 100 people, only 30 are happy. So that means 70% of your team is usually unhappy with their playing time, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's a fact, and they're usually the most boisterous. But here's the thing. When you hear about people who are looking to transfer or something like that, right? Think about what they've read. Think about what they've heard. Think about what their family is hearing. Are you a fan who takes to Twitter or Instagram or Facebook when you're mad at the coach? Are you that person?
Me?
Right?
Oh,
ask anybody.
I was like, no. Huh?
If you're that person who takes to Twitter out of anger, realize that platform everybody sees.
Yes.
Right? So if I am a student athlete, am I supposed to, like, think about it. I read what they're saying about my coach.
Mm-hmm.
That's on like my alert.
Yeah.
Right? So think about this. When you bombard Bobby Petrino crap stuff, everybody reads that. But you know what they never read? They never read when you say, okay, we'll just generalize. Steve, give me 5 players. Give me your 5 quickest players that you can't have transfer.
Tutu Atwell, Hassan Hall, Mekhi Becton, Jarrett Jackson, and give me Dez Fitzpatrick.
Marcus Hicks. Dez Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. Well, Dez has been on social media the other day basically saying he loves it here. So that's why I left him last, because I'm so confident he'll be here. So I'll say Robert Hicks.
That was 5 that, let's just say everybody agrees with you.
Mm-hmm.
Most people agree with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many times in the last 2 weeks do you think they've been tagged in a please don't transfer? You're doing a great job. We're proud of you, the way you fight for the school. We're proud of you coming out. But Tutu Atwell, for example, just hypothetically.
Yeah.
Tutu Atwell. How many people follow Tutu Atwell? How many people tag him and say, dude, you are a bright spot last night, right?
Oh yeah.
You know where Tutu Atwell gets his biggest compliments from? Lamar Jackson and everybody down in Miami and Florida State and everywhere else.
Right, Teddy. Yeah.
Or Teddy. Yeah,
Teddy,
right.
Teddy,
what I'm saying is the Florida
Yep.
people are acknowledging that he's still out there balling.
Absolutely.
He gets nothing from the local market because everybody's too busy firing off on Lonnie Galloway.
Yeah.
Or Nick Petrino or Bobby Petrino or Lorenzo Ward. You know what I'm saying? Everybody but a compliment to a play. Because listen, we answer these phones on a daily basis, and you say it all the time. Aside from Hall and Atwell and Becton, we don't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why don't you tag them with the same love as you tag with hate? Because like you know, like it's okay. Like you tag them when you're mad at. You tagged James Quick out of anger, right?
Yeah.
How often he has to rely on his friends and his family to tag him when he does a great job, despite the loss.
Absolutely.
Right? So I needed this to be a conversation this morning. I need you to imagine how little support they're getting right now.
Yeah.
Like if you want to really do your part, do you realize how much of a long way it would go for Tutu Atwell to get on his Twitter and see 50 people saying, hey, it ain't great right now, but I'm telling you, we've gotten through this stuff before. We really love having you here. We admire the way you play. Like 32 characters. Good job. Tough it out.
Yeah,
Good job.
I definitely
We
think
see
it
you.
makes a difference. Absolutely. I mean, because the one thing that you have is that fan interaction, because media interaction, and this isn't just here centric.
That's why Aiden Gahan just said, "This is my home."
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly why.
It was personal support.
Yeah, because if Aiden Gahan was going off media attention, then he's going, my God, everything's negative down there right now.
Right.
With the basketball team. I mean, it was the fan interaction.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Aiden Gahan, you were comfortable tagging him. Irish Hulk, come on, Aiden this, Aiden that, Aiden everything, right?
Yep.
Answer the question, Steve. Why is nobody comfortable saying good job for your football program? Tennessee does.
Yeah.
I didn't even mean to go Tennessee. I meant to say people who are really pulling for their programs to get better, right?
Yeah.
They're tagging for good recruits.
Yes.
They're social media warfare for their players.
Yeah.
Is there no answer to that?
No, I don't think so, because I think that other than
I'm trying to come up with a solution to combat negative stories.
Yeah, because I want to say that it's Louisville centric, or that it happens, but I think that it has more to or Bobby Petrino centric. But the problem is I think that what I've found is it doesn't matter. I think it won't be long. The same people that kind of hate on Bobby will hate on.
Texas says Dorian Etheridge.
Dorian Etheridge is a great one.
Good call.
The same people that kind of hate on Bobby, I think, will eventually start to hate on Jeff Brom. Well, so
Right.
it's kind of. No, I don't know why that's the case here. Other than if it's a Kentucky Louisville thing, maybe.
And how about this? When you think about this, you shot off 5 uber talented program changers, right?
Yeah.
That, you know what that means? That means you got 5 program changes on your team right now.
Yes.
You know who's not getting credit for bringing 5 program changers on this team right now? Right?
Yeah.
They're only
Bobby,
they're,
because
they're only awesome when they're on their way out the door.
yeah.
I wanted to make that point with Russ Yeast. I held on to it.
Uh-huh.
Why aren't y'all just saying that if Bobby got Russ, Tutu, Dorian, whoever else, if he got all those guys, why can't he get, why can't he just, I don't even want to talk about him getting more. Just give him his props.
Well, yeah, I'll give you your props for getting them, but you're getting stomped. So, if you got to take the same criticism for getting your
but what I'm hearing,
brains
I only
kicked in
hear
on a
the
week-and-week
stomp
basis.
part. I never hear the.
Yeah,
he does have a full cupboard.
Well, I don't know. I think even some haters are saying, "Oh, Brom's going to come and grab some talent. He's going to inherit some talent."
Yeah, and I'm comfortable with Brom being able to hold his own. Ronnie, thanks for joining us on 93.9, my man. Fire away.
Hey, Marcus, this is Ronnie. I called you a couple weeks ago. Change the subject a little bit from what y'all are talking about, but I called in about the Lakers.
Indeed.
And LeBron.
Right.
And I didn't know if you were interested in just a little bit of an update with the Lakers and LeBron.
I need it.
Listen, you earned that one. Fire away.
All right. I just want you all to know that you should catch every Laker game that's going on this year, because you are going to witness the exposing of LeBron James and his so-called greatness. I'm not saying he's not a above average, even a somewhat great basketball player, but to the degree that everybody worships him, this is the year that he is going to be exposed, and he's already starting to be exposed. Even after I called you all the first time, I think it was the very first game that LeBron played, and it was on TBS. Charles Barkley even said that, LeBron, you're not going to be able to take any games off this year like you did in the East because it was so weak. In the West, even the worst game in the West is a struggle, and they can beat you. And as of right now, they're 12th in the West. If you noticed in the Dallas game, which is the worst team in the West, if you watch the end of that game, I told you before, LeBron has a defeatist attitude, and it's what's going to turn all the Laker fans against him this year. Is because he shrugs his shoulders, he dips down, and he acts like he's already lost before they've even lost. And they ended up winning that game by a point, but it was at LA, and it was with the worst team in the West. The Lakers are used to Kobe Bryant. And we're going to forget about comparing LeBron to Michael, because I think that's beating a dead horse. LeBron will never be anywhere close to what a Michael Jordan was in basketball. But when it comes to, say, even comparing him to the great Lakers of Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, and on down the list, they've all won a national title, or they've all won a title there. They're all world champions. And you've never saw a game where Kobe droops his shoulders, ducks his head, pouts, runs over to the officials and cries for 5 minutes while the team is huddled up talking about the next play, and all of the stuff that LeBron does. You can't coach that out of a person. That's just his mentality. And in the East, it was very easy for him to do what he's done to people in the East. But you mark my words, this year they will either be booing him by the end of the year. I doubt they even make the playoffs. I told you before that they'll never get above a 5th seed. I don't even know if they'll make the playoffs this year. And LeBron may actually get an injury this year because unlike in the East when he was able to take games off and literally not do nothing, in the West it's not going to happen. He's going to have to play twice as hard because no game is a gimme. And he may even get his first major injury because he switched to L.A. If he was going to go West, he should have picked any other team except for L.A. They're even running a special tonight on ESPN about what's going wrong with the Lakers and LeBron because everybody just assumed that he was going to come over and dominate like he did in the East, and it's never going to happen. The only way LeBron will ever win in the East, he'll never get Kevin Durant. I don't know if you all know this or not, but he already tried to get KD to come there last year. He sent him a text message, and KD showed it to Steph Curry and all that, and they started blasting him everywhere, making fun of him and laughing. So he'll never get a KD to go to L.A. His best chance is to get some sort of a superstar that does not have the same type of give-up attitude that he has to carry the load so that then LeBron can play second chair, which is what he's good at when he wins titles. And I'm open. If you have a question for me, that's fine. If not, I'm glad to hang up.
Ronnie, you covered it all, my man. I appreciate the call.
Appreciate it, man. I needed that. I was not going to interrupt that.
Texters, there was no way I was going
not.
to interrupt Ronnie.
I needed that. I think I disagreed with nearly everything he said, but I was not going to say a word.
I needed that just so I could watch our producer squirm. and Brian, was that good? Was that as good to you as it was for us?
That was awesome, Ronnie.
That was just so perfect.
You
like
just gotta sit there and take it all in. You're
dude,
like, all right,
I'm
just let
not,
him
I'm
go.
not even going to retort because I could.
Right.
You know, there were so many things. Like right now,
I started writing down the notes.
I could just come back with this and this and this.
Ronnie,
and
I
this.
was taking notes while you were talking.
Yeah, yes, like no, I don't want him to think that like Ronnie calls in. He's very spirited about this. We're a sports radio show. I don't want him to think like I'm not. I'm just gonna say you deliver your message so phenomenal that I think not only should you deliver that message to us, I think that you should
let all state radio shows know.
You should call in to the Drew Diener Show, which I think is one of the flagship programs.
It's a great idea.
And I think you should deliver that same monologue tomorrow morning.
That's an awesome idea. Steve, sometimes, man, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with your forebrain, with your analytical brain. That's the best idea that you made.
So Ronnie, do that tomorrow.
Because listen,
267-9680. Call the Drew Diener Show tomorrow and deliver that exact same.
Because
monologue.
the drive time catches everybody on their way to start their day,
and I don't want to.
Confine your message.
Confine that, even though pretty much everybody listens to the show, but I want to expand that, and Drew loves that. He would love that conversation about
Texter.
LeBron.
You don't think Drew Diener would appreciate what Ronnie has to say?
Oh, he would. No, he would.
Yeah, because Diener's not like a huge LeBron fan. That would make it even better.
He would be right there with you.
Yeah, like you really want somebody to like totally agree.
And look, and here's the deal. Make sure that Drew knows, because Drew will respect this opinion so much that when he tries to
tell him we asked you to call over.
Yes, and when he tries to stop you, just say, Drew, let me finish. And that's kind of the key line that he will back off.
Make Drew Diener respect your entire opinion.
Yes. Say, Drew, let me finish. And then go on, and he will back off and finish that. Ronnie, thank you so much.
The best idea you've ever come up with, Steve.
You're welcome.
Darren, thanks for joining us on 93.9, my man. What's on your mind?
Well, number one, go Big Blue. I tell you what, wow.
Look good, man.
Absolutely. That was my blue wave that came through last night. I absolutely and thoroughly enjoyed that blue wave. So
they look great.
Yeah. God, I had no idea Zion Williamson was that much of a man. Listen, number one, I am the biggest two-faced hypocrite on the planet right now, because I cannot believe I'm calling in and saying something about the NBA. But, Ronnie, man, dude, number one, LeBron James is already a 16-year NBA veteran. He has won 3 NBA titles. You know, if you're going to just hate LeBron to be hating, to go that long to make your case, you know, and Ronnie, you need to go back and watch the Michael Jordan film, dude. Michael Jordan constantly was on the referees as well, and they protected Michael Jordan. Everybody knows that, but I don't think they protect LeBron like they did Michael. So that argument got so many holes in it. But hey, I hated LeBron in the beginning, and I was one of the haters. But listen, LeBron is a freak, man. Just give him his credit. He won an NBA title over at Golden State, by the way, at Cleveland, Ronnie. So he's up on him. There's a lot of great players in history.
Darren, what do you think about Steve Rummage's idea that Ronnie should take his message to the Drew Diener show?
Huh. Oh, Drew would have a nervous breakdown if he had to sit and listen to him all that long. Drew would. Everybody knows that. But I'm not blasting Ronnie, but, dude, you thought about that one too much, man. He's golly, LeBron is 34 years old, dude. I mean, come on. 16-year veteran already. And nobody has played under the spotlight better than LeBron James. And like I said, I was a hater, but nobody has handled the media and the pressure like LeBron James has. Give him his due.
Darren, I appreciate that call. Oh, sorry. 100%. Hang up. That's how I say. Cody, thanks for joining us on 93.9. Fire away. My bad.
What's going on, guys? I got to cover my man Bron for a second. If there's one thing I can agree with that one caller on, okay, I'm not going to call LeBron average. He's clearly like a top 3 player of all time, but I do think LeBron didn't really know what he was getting into going to the Lakers and going to the West, because it is true, you cannot take days off in the West. The West is too good, and I don't think they're going to get Kawhi Leonard, so it's going to look like he's probably going to get stuck with this young core, and he's got to lead by example, and hopefully he can get these guys going. But yeah, I don't think LeBron really knew what he was getting himself into going to the West like this. But you know, last night I was watching that Duke UK game, and I swear I had the biggest mix of happiness just watching UK get beaten up, and the biggest like feeling of, oh crap, because we got to play Duke also. I mean, just wait till Zion Williamson gets in shape, man. It's not going to be good. Like, if that man could play, like, 35 minutes a game, dude, I don't know, man. It's going to be I'm excited to play these guys, but at the same time, man, like, the schedule's going to be brutal. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully VJ King can step up, and maybe if he can drop 30 on Zion Williamson, I'm going to buy you guys a steak dinner. Like,
no, I appreciate the call. VJ King's going to have to learn to be a defender.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And let me just say real quick, LeBron knew exactly. LeBron's one of the smartest athletes.
I was going to say that too, Cody.
He's got a plan. Like,
he doesn't know what he's getting into.
And the plan, I think, involves him taking a year off from the playoffs because the dude has not had a summer off.
Do you realize in 16 seasons, he has played just in playoffs the equivalent? So he's basically played 22 years of basketball.
Yeah.
By just adding in months of playoff basketball.
He has a plan, and this year winning a championship this year was not a part of that plan. But next year, but when Anthony Davis all of a sudden is signing with his agency,
what has he missed? One playoff?
Yes. No, I don't even know.
His
rookie year? Yeah. I mean,
16 seasons of playoff run.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I disagreed with there. He's got a plan.
He didn't know what he was getting himself into.
And yeah, he's definitely not average. That would be like saying Duke gave Kentucky an average beatdown last night.
More like epic proportional beatdown. Denny, thanks for joining us on 93.9. Fire away.
My Lord, this show just got hijacked.
Yeah,
brutal. I just wanted to say this. I'm gonna give a plug. I have switched over from listening to the show online to watching it on We Are Made for the Ville, and it adds so much more fun watching you guys. So Steve is typically on his phone and sipping out of his McDonald's cup, but that's a whole other issue.
My thing.
We'll get to that later. But I guess he gets a little cotton mouth. I don't know. But,
I enjoy
one of the things I thought about that game last night was this. How many times do you think Calipari looked down to the other side of that bench down at Duke's side and went,
Yeah, he wants a rebuttal.
and he was supposed to come to Big Blue Nation.
I guarantee he was thinking that the entire time.
Oh, my gosh. You think about putting him on that team, it changed that whole team dynamic tremendously.
Maybe.
There were shots of Calipari. He looked sad. He looked deflected. He looked
did.
defeated. You guys are hilarious. I love watching it online. It's great TV, people. You need to watch it. I'm going to get off here and listen to you guys.
Listen, I appreciate that. And listen, I keep saying this. I'm trying, people. I'm cleaning up the signal. I'm cleaning up the online stuff. But it is fun. We have gotten increasingly comfortable, you know what I'm saying, doing. I hate I called you out on the scrolling because the online definitely.
Oh, no, it's totally fine.
So his call spoke about a hijacking of the show, right, Steve?
Yes.
Round 2, Ronnie, thanks for joining us
Got
on
60
93.9.
seconds.
Fire away.
Thanks for taking my call, Marcus.
Absolutely.
And just for the record, I am not trying to convince you or your partner to agree with me, and I don't need you all to agree with me in order for me to feel good. But something that the other guy said about LeBron not knowing what he's getting into, I do believe that LeBron didn't know what he was getting into. The fact that you all are saying that he's decided to take a year off from the playoffs, come on, what player actually decides to take a year off from the playoffs because he's just been there so many times? And the fact that he's been there 16 times or whatever in the East or whatever, well, what does that tell you about the East? That proves my point. And the other thing is, he is not playing with a young team in L.A. He's playing with one of the top guards in the NBA, Rajon Rondo. He's playing with Lance Stevenson, who is also a veteran and is a starter on any team that he goes to. He's got the number 1 pick that's a sophomore in ball. He's got McGee, who's lighting it up as the center from Golden State Warriors. So don't sit there and tell me that LeBron is playing with a young team. He's playing with a better team now than he left with when he was in Cleveland. And facts are facts. And I can't help it that you all are unable to say anything truthful about LeBron except, oh, he's the greatest, and then try to carry. Even Stephen A. Smith, if you want to talk about announcers or you guys on the radio, like you all are supposed to have the supreme opinion and nobody else is ever supposed to disagree with you. Even Stephen A. Smith said, who loves LeBron, if you ever listen to him talk, said that if LeBron ever played in the same time as Michael Jordan, LeBron would never become as good as he was because Michael Jordan would have ripped his freaking heart out of him. That's the truth. He does not have, even people that were willing to tell the truth about LeBron is able to know that the guy does not have a killer mentality when it comes to give me the ball at the end of the game. I want to shoot it. I'm not afraid if I miss it. That is what LA is used to. That's what all champions are used to. You don't see Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, you go on down the line, all the Kyrie. First of all, that's something else I want to switch to real quick. LeBron's championships. Don't forget that LeBron didn't win a championship until he went to Miami and played with Dwayne Wade when Dwayne Wade was still in the upper part of his prime, at least, had already won a championship and has the same attitude that other great stars Dwayne Wade was never afraid to take the last shot at the end of the game, and that's why LeBron won his titles with in Miami, because he had Wade and Bosh. And when he went to Cleveland, yes, he beat Golden State Warriors, but so what? It was Kyrie Irving who lit up the scoreboard and nobody could stop and was taking all the shots. And don't you think it's kind of funny that LeBron, after they won that championship, that LeBron, who's always told, I can keep any player, get any player, Why did he let Kyrie Irving go? Maybe it's because Kyrie Irving was showing him up. Look, wouldn't have won that title if it wasn't for Kyrie Irving. And facts are facts. And I don't need you to disagree with me or not. If you can't look at the facts and tell that is true, or if you can't look at LeBron and tell that he gives up at the end of the games, how many games in the championship games has LeBron walked off the court on with time still on the clock? Now you tell me how many times Kyrie Irving, Dwayne Wade, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, how many times have any of those players ever walked off the court in a championship game with time on the clock? None. Yeah. Y'all can debate that.
Yeah. Thanks, Ronnie.
Do you think Ronnie listens to the show? Because he calls in and talks NBA every time, and we hardly ever.
I think he took the loss really hard last night.
He did, man. He's having a rough day.
So,
Midday with Marcus Maven. Quick commercial break. 8150-939 is the number on 939 The Ville.
Connecting locally, powered nationally. Century Mortgage Company is a community leader catering to your every need. Our commitment to personal, local business drives us to deliver exceptional service to our clients and community. Whether it's a new home or refinancing your investment, consider Century Mortgage Company, Kentuckiana's top mortgage leader and Kentucky's largest locally owned mortgage banking institution. Low rates and our dedication to closing loans in under 30 days make today a great day to visit CenturyMortgage.com. Century Mortgage Company is an equal housing lender. NMLS number 3925.
And be sure to tell them you're a friend of 93.9 The Ville.
Check out Louisville Sports Live, the city's longest-running all U of L sports talk show, every Wednesday at 6 o'clock, right here on 93.9 The Ville. Check us out daily at LouisvilleSportsLive.net. Follow us on Twitter at Lville Sports without an O Live. All the best local and national guests every Wednesday at 6 o'clock, right here on 93.9 The Ville.
This is Drew Diener, and you're listening to 93.9 The Ville, live from the OPC Services Studio.
You're listening to Middays with Marcus Maben, broadcasting live from the OPC Pest Services Studio on 93.9 The Ville. Now, here's Marcus Maben and Steve Rummage.
Welcome back. Welcome back. It's Middays with Ronnie. I'm your host, Marcus Maben. 8150 93.9 is the number. 93.9 is the station. People, we are coming down to the home stretch. Tomorrow we'll be at Coach's Grill. Feel free to drop by, hang out with us, but definitely make it a priority. Al J's in the Galt House. Refamiliarize yourself with the Galt House. It's been a while. Sometimes everybody likes to get a little swanky and try some new, hotels. And why do you have to? When we need to get the original energy of the University of Louisville, almost get it like back concentrated to ground zero. Galt House, it's like the Executive West.
Yeah.
At Freedom Hall. The Galt House built downtown.
That's true.
And then people start scrambling around and, we're going to go to Fifth Street, and I'm going to go over here to Main Street, and all these other places and all these other hotels and restaurants and bars and pubs, and nothing is better than joining us for a pregame. Even if you're there before us, pregame, Al J's Galt House is how we refocus back to Louisville basketball.
And the Yum Center is only connected to one. Just saying.
Just saying.
You can park there. You can go to Al J's. No matter if it's raining, storming, freezing cold, you can walk to the Yum Center completely covered all the way over.
And people, nobody appreciates that more than me, and you know why. So, Steve, we're on the home stretch. Everybody's getting a little hungry right now. Help them out.
Yeah, well, right. Sorry, I don't even know what am I doing with my life right now? Sorry, I'm still mixed up.
You were trying to scroll and read.
And I'm just thinking. I'm still thinking. I had time to ponder. Sorry, Brian. I'm going to
Congratulations to Durham Webb.
I had time to ponder a lot of things about life while Ronnie was talking.
You learned that I could juggle.
Yeah. And I was just thinking through things. Just thinking, what career path do I want to pursue? What do I want to do with life? I mean, I had a lot of times to ponder deep things. So I'm still trying to kind of come back to sports radio mode. But one thing that will help me is it's Which Wednesday at ESPN Louisville. Thanks to Jason and his team for bringing about Which to the ESPN Louisville studios. As always, they have two great locations, Old Brownsboro Crossing or 221 South Hurstbourne Parkway. You guys know the drill. Try the ESPN special. That's a large Which for just $6.80. That's good 7 days a week. Pick up something for the family, cater for the office, or tailgate if you still do that. Order online today at whichwich.com or download their new app, Which Superior Sandwiches.
Again, let us take a moment and give a huge shout out. I believe 102-80-ish women's basketball win over Western Kentucky. And people, don't turn into those people. Don't turn into those fan bases that say, oh, well, we were in the Final Four last year, so I'll just wait till we're in the Final Four next year to tune in. Don't do that. Don't do that, because you know what happens? You have a down year, and then you say, well, we've been losing every year for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And then you lose your coaches, and then you lose your players, and then you lose your reputation because you decided that the Final Four was just the standard of your team. When Ken Lola is in the Elite Eight in a game in Mark and Cindy Lynn Stadium, about to go to the Final Four, and then you decide I'll just wait to the Final Four because last year they were in the. No. And just like when you see Coach McDonald of the Louisville baseball team, and you say, oh, well, last year he had a down year. I don't even know what his seed was. Last year wasn't a down year, but it happens all the time. You don't appreciate the wins, and then the when you really win, you don't respect it. Like, you got a winning program here. Like, right now in my car, I have one of my prized possessions is my University of Louisville soccer scarf. Because I went there, I wanted the scarf. They gave away the sweetest Louisville scarves. Like, giveaway nights. Your volleyball team is ranked crazy. They play in one of the nicest arenas on the planet. Rex Ikarma has the future of tennis in his own home right now. Actually, 2 futures of tennis in his own home right now. His team is making it happen. He got doubles, nationally ranked players. I'm just trying to tell you, the worst news we've had as of late is our football team needs to get it together, and our field hockey team took a late loss at the end of the season that got them, that's probably more likely bumped them out of the tournament. But I did get our good friend of the show, Boston Joe Habelo. You know, Steve, we had a little back and forth, right?
Yep.
You know what Boston Joe Habelo asked me?
What's that?
Hey, Marcus, I really enjoy being on the show. Is it okay if I talk other sports too? Right?
Yeah.
Like, how cool was that? Like, people don't realize when you hear Boston Joe going, Marcus, you know, he's an accomplished sports radio host.
Yeah.
That's not just a dad of one of the players on the this guy, I mean, we're talking about a seasoned OG radio host who knows a hell of a lot more about national sports than me.
Right.
Right? So him asking me, is it okay if I'm a regular contributor to the show? Hell yeah.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Again, double, triple, quadruple congratulations to Derwin Webb. We appreciate our partners, people. We make fun and we make light of a lot of things on a daily basis here at 93.9 The Ville and Middays with Marcus Maven. But something that is not so funny when you get in these morning commutes and afternoon commutes and your car gets dinged up. That's why we are happy to go back and forth, codependent partners of Bill at Sorensen Sons Collision Center. It's a partner we love. We will actually be there on Friday. We're gonna chill in the lobby.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: if you got an excuse to skip work and you got to take your car in to get an estimate, come hang out with us. They have a beautiful, comfortable lobby. They have a refrigerator, complimentary snacks. I don't know if the refrigerator might be empty, but you get the point. Bill at Scoins and Sons Collision Center. It's an awesome partnership. Jill Blessinger, Becky Blamel, they're out here working, people. They're out here working for you, working as hard as humanly possible. Keller Williams, I mean, they work. They work, and that's why we love being partners. Windows Plus. I mean, Steve told you what good is having that beautiful view. If your windows are all cruddy and crappy, those weren't the words he exactly used, but you get the point. We are made for the Ville. You heard the caller. We are made for the Ville. You get to see the visual product. Don't wait till our product looks like, First Take or whatever, on your television. Like, this is 2018. You can be on an intimate growth of a show with us on YouTube. Like, it's a fact. It's an awesome thing to do. 8150-939. It's always the number. 3831-939. It's always the text line. We Are Made for the Ville is the YouTube channel. 10 to 12 is always the time on 93.9 The Ville.